Okay, question 17. Which line of code would assign a state vector simulator object to the variable backend? So there's a lot of terminology, right? Objects, what's a simulator, right? What's a state vector? They're all important to know, right? But they're not essential to pass the exam. Someone left a comment on one of the videos earlier, and they were like, what do you recommend for essentials to pass the exam? And I replied, I was like, when I first took the exam, it was new, so there weren't many study materials. So like that's why I'm making this like video series to help people save time, right? Because I covered a lot of fundamentals that weren't exactly necessary. Of course, they're useful, very useful to have, a good depth of understanding of the fundamentals for whatever field you're in. But they weren't necessarily needed to pass the exam. So state vector simulator object to the variable backend. All you really need to know is, again, it's like the boilerplate stuff they give you. Again, you see it's all very similar stuff. Backend equals. So it's about finding the patterns in between this. Thankfully, people at Qiskit give templates. So those are very essential to reference because the templates they give are safe. So just like the last question, this is a variable backend. So this is basic air stuff. So just like the last question, you're going to see me pull up here. It's actually in the same page. Here we go. Basic air, Python-based simulators. I don't know my pointy stick today. But this is the page we were at for question 16, right? So we searched Qiskit, basic air API. And here we have a template, a module, let's see. So template, yeah, an example. These examples are like the your little keys to see what's correct so you don't learn things incorrectly. So this is the template we have, an example. It says get backend chasm simulator. That's it pretty much. So we have the question and we compare. So it was basic air.get underscore back, in this case chasm simulator. Okay. So now we're seeing some nuance to the question, right? We're not asking for the chasm simulator. We're asking for the state vector simulator. So we're going to take that template and kind of like put some spice on it, change it up a little bit to make it applicable to this situation. So here we have, okay, so they're all state vector simulators. So backend equals, if we work in parallel, they all start with backend equals, so that's all correct. Here we have basic air.state vector simulator pi. Here we have basic air.get backend. Here we have basic air.state vector simulator pi, and basic air.get underscore back. So immediately we can compare with the template we just saw. Again, I'll flash on screen. And the template is basic air.get underscore backend. I know syntax, very finicky, but those are this exam is testing you based off of syntax. So it's very finicky. You might call it picky, however you want to describe it, but that's what we're aiming for here, the fundamentals. So the syntax is get underscore backend. Let me highlight it just to highlight it. To draw attention to it, I guess I should say. Maybe it's a little small. There we go. Backend equals basic air.get underscore backend, and then the simulator. And of course, we import beforehand, but that's not what we're getting asked here. So back to the question. So immediately, .get underscore back can be eliminated because it's supposed to be get underscore backend. It's just like the shots example, maybe example question 15, I think it was. Very small stuff. Instead of shots, it was shot. So these are the red flags you got to keep an eye out for. This one was repeat 1024. This is supposed to be shot. Oh, this marker's dead. Shot used instead of shots. Similar situation here. Get underscore backend should be get underscore back should be get underscore backend. So D is wrong because of that small syntax. This right here should be get underscore backend. That's why D is wrong. And again, you'll see I didn't elaborate more. So C and A are also wrong because of bad syntax. We'll run through that very quickly, but B is the correct answer. Again, all these can be kind of boiled down to bad syntax. There are multiple layers of red flags, so hopefully if you don't catch the first layer of red flags, you can catch the second one, so you can still get the question correct. So backend equals, we're all good there. D is automatically ruled out. So we have basic air.state vector simulator pi. We have get good direction, right? Good lead. And then we have basic air.state vector simulator pi dot name. Okay, so I'm willing to bet maybe this syntax for the state vector simulator. Yeah, it's real. So state vector simulator pi, Python state vector simulator. But those two questions, while they are heading in a, correct direction, do something different. So the option C runs the .name method. Methods are something in Python that you don't necessarily need to know, but they are kind of important. So I'll click this. Name. Yep. So just so we all can see. So state vector simulator pi is a class, right? I don't want to get too deep into the Python weeds of what classes are, but they're like types of things, right? And under these types, class type, you have these things called methods that you can run on the class. A class is a way to store common information about objects. So option C runs the method, the .name method on the state vector simulator class. So here we have the class definition, again, class state vector simulator. And if I search name, we'll see a list of methods. And here is the name method. And you run it by doing state vector simulator pi .name. And that will give you the backend name. So that is why C is incorrect, because it runs the .name method, giving you the name of it, which isn't what we're looking for. We're looking to declare a backend, just to declare a backend as state vector simulator. So that's why C is wrong, because of this .name method that's run. You could also say that, yeah. And then B is correct because we recognize the template syntax that we saw. It's almost, I think it is one for one. The example we saw. Here we go. Backend equals basic air.get backend chasm simulator. And of course, we replaced this highlighted chasm simulator with state vector simulator. That's the little sprinkle of difference that we have for this question. So again, B, we see that, sorry, it takes a second to load. We see that exact same syntax, .get underscore backend state vector simulator. So B has correct syntax, C runs the .name method, which we don't want. D has the wrong syntax, and A is actually worth looking at, basic air.state vector simulator pi. So right there, what we're doing, I'm switching between so many times that I'm trying to forget. I'm trying to remember which one I want to be on. Python state vector simulator. Oh, okay, so even if we wanted to write it with that type, the syntax is incorrect. So that's not how we declare them. So again, we're looking at the template, matching the syntax one-to-one. B, the syntax is correct. And A, the syntax is incorrect because you notice a couple things, a couple red flag layers, right? The parentheses aren't there, the single quotes aren't there, the underscore isn't there for the simulator. So B is correct syntax. So, long story short, all the other answers are wrong because of incorrect syntax to varying levels, right? There's a little bit of detail. .name is very close. Well, not very close, I shouldn't say that. But .name is something we don't want to do. D is very close syntax. Get underscore back instead of get underscore backend. And A is just wrong syntax because the template is not described that way.